some weeks back, I posted a question and answer post, and I was able to attend to some of those questions directly by replying by text. Some of them and a whole lot of them I didn't answer. So I scheduled a time such as this to be able to answer your questions. So if you've ever asked me any question and this episode doesn't cover your question, I wanted to keep in touch. Okay, one of these days, I'll be coming up with another episode and I'll be able to answer your question. My first question today. This person is asking, can a lady of 40 years get married to a man of 62 years old if there is love between them? From my perspective, you can only decide what works for you as an adult. No matter how far we try to go to convince you to do certain things the right way, you are still in the best position to know what is going to work for you. A lot of things that we recommend to improve and to better your relationships, maybe professional tips and things that we coined from researches that have helped other people's relationship. So we make recommendations, but we don't all have the same circumstances surrounding whatever challenges we're going through. So that is why there are peculiar cases. Now, in this regard, if you know getting married to a 62-year-old man as a 42-year-old lady works out for you if the man loves you and you love him, I don't think there's anything wrong that way. Just be sure there is love. Just be sure you're sincere with yourself. And just be sure you're not going into this relationship in order to just cover up those shame that single people think they go through when they don't get married early. And if you're single, let me divert a little bit. You need to stop being distracted by people's opinion when you don't get married at that popular age they think you should be married. To get married late and to get it right is best for you. Don't let anybody pressure you or pressurize you into getting married when you're not ready or when you don't even love the person. Okay, so take note of these things. So again, I want to say to this fellow who is asking this question, you can marry anybody you want, no matter the age gap, if it works for you. I've seen people who got married and the age gap is 17 years and they did beautifully well, or they're doing so beautifully well. So it depends on you. Another thing is, if you are the man and the gap between you and the lady is wide, you may want to avoid certain things so that the marriage can work. For example, seeing her like your younger sister, or seeing her like somebody you're old enough to give birth to. You won't relate with her as your spouse. You will rather relate with her as somebody who is small, who don't have a mature idea and all those things. So these are some of the things that affect a relationship where the age gap is huge. Someone somewhere in the relationship is thinking the other person is too young to make these recommendations. If you're getting married, you're making up your mind to marry someone who is very much older than you, you better relate as a couple and not capitalize on the age. I hope this helps. The next question is, this person is asking, Ma, how can a single lady of 42 years old, very related to that, control her sexual urge, especially during ovulation, and also trying hard to avoid fornication? Now, our taste or drive for sex, they differ depending on who you are. It also depends on your background, the way you were brought up, your experiences, why you were growing up may really determine your drive for sex, whether you're a woman or whether you're a man. Now, in this case, if you're, wanting to have sex is very high. You said during ovulation, which is a biological experience, that during ovulation, most women want to have sex. Okay, so their wanting to have sex level is very high. Okay, so now if that is your case and you are not married, let me talk to you first as a Christian counselor. You have no right to go into sex if you are not married, no matter what is driving you no matter the level of your drive for sex, whether it is biological, it is spiritual, it is normal, or whatever. Okay, no right to go into sex. You may want to discipline yourself. Okay, first, just like Joseph said when Potiphar's wife was tempting him and dragging him so badly to sleep with her. And he said, why will I do such an evil thing against the Lord? Sex outside marriage is an evil thing against God. If you're a believer, you're a Christian, you may not want to do anything that is evil against your maker. So that alone should be a thing of caution. And on the other way around, if you are not that a religious person, you are just a nominal Christian or a normal person, and you don't mind having sex during before marriage, though I don't support that. Discipline is the best way to handle your emotion. At times when we are so lonely, we tend to be exposed to a lot of temptation, loneliness, idleness. So when the time comes during your ovulation and the drive is so hyped, what I would suggest you do is go about a lot of things that will keep you busy. At times when we are busy mentally, when we're busy physically, we suppress automatically certain things that want to drive us into doing what we don't want to do ordinarily. Okay, so get busy and confide in friends that are around you. Let them know what you're going through. So when that period comes, you can get in touch with some of them that will also engage you in some profitable discussion that will take your attention from that drive. Loneliness, idleness, being alone, you can be in the midst of people and still be lonely, but being alone at times can actually, cripple your strength to be able to resist temptation. So get around people, get busy, and if you still need help, you can look for a way to get in touch with a counselor. I'm also available. My number is always on that page. Some people often ask me, is there? So just WhatsApp below, you don't have to call because it's a foreign line. I hope that helps. I have another question. It says, why do Christian ladies find it difficult to find their Boaz after living in purity and godliness? Now, this person refers to the Bible character called Boaz, the husband of Ruth. That if you have kept yourself, you are a born-again Christian, no sex because you're not married, you're devoted to the things of God, how come it's difficult for people like that to get married to the people or to the man of their dream or to God's perfect will for them? This is not always the case for everybody, my sister. I want to assume a lady is asking this question. This isn't the case for everybody. By God's grace, speaking from experience, the Lord helped me. I kept myself. I got born again as a teenager, so I was focused, preparing for heaven, making my journey, and not wanting to mess up myself or sin against God before I finally get married. And the Lord helped me. Eventually, I find that man I believe the Lord has kept for me. And that is my own story. If that is not your story, you've been waiting, there is nothing anybody can do about it but to just encourage you that keep trusting God for the man to come. Keep trusting God. That's just all I can say. To keep praying and don't make yourself vulnerable because the man is not coming. Don't go somewhere where they pray for single people to get married and they mess them up. Don't be a victim to some of those silly things. If truly you're a child of God, there is something I believe. The Lord can never neglect you. He will never allow you to suffer. You may go through challenges, you may be tempted, there may be, you may be chastised also, even by your maker, but he will never let evil befall you because he cannot contradict his word. He has promised to keep us. So if you're waiting, I want to suggest you keep waiting. I know waiting period could be so tough, even for a very strong believer. However, we just have to keep waiting. One day, I believe, the Lord will open his book of remembrance for you. and you shall be settled. If you still need help, you can please ask for help, and then encourage yourself in the Lord. If you're asking God for a blessing, I want you to prepare for that blessing. You're asking for the blessing of a Boaz. Be a Ruth also. Prepare. Take good care of yourself. Smell well. Smile. Don't behave like the weight of the whole world is lying upon you because your man is not coming. When you begin to get yourself stressed up because you're not married at a certain age, you begin to look older than your age. A lot of things will begin to happen to you. I have met people who got delayed before marriage. They lived a very pleasant life. You will know they're going through such a tough waiting period. So make your waiting period a period to love God, to serve God, be friendly, make more money, improve on yourself career-wise, professionally, and wait on God. If it is God you're waiting for, He will never, ever disappoint you. I know it's easy to say, but that is simply the truth. I pray the Lord will favor you in the mighty name of Jesus Christ. I believe that is helpful. Let me go to the next question. The question this person is asking, do you think a guy who spends good 8 months proposing a relationship to a girl who kept on refusing, and when she finally accepted this dude, he began showing her a totally different attitude? Actually, he loved this girl. Well, if I understood this question very well, you're saying that you've been trying to woo this lady for 8 months and he's been saying no and no. But eventually she said yes. But now the relationship has commenced. She's beginning to wear a repulsive attitude. I believe this is what you're asking. At times we don't know the actual attitude of a person until we move closer. You might be seeing her from afar and not knowing that this is how she has been. She might have been like that. And one thing a relationship would do is it will help us reshaping one another, you and your partner, and you become better on a daily basis. You're not going to meet a perfect person. If there are things your partner is doing wrongly, in love, let her know about it and talk about it. If she's showing attitudes, it doesn't mean she doesn't love you. It may not mean she doesn't love you. For her to have waited for 8 months before coming up to say yes, probably she was taking her time. She will have her reasons for prolonging the answers to proposal differ depending on the person you're dealing with. I delayed a little bit because I wanted to pray. I wanted God's confirmation. Immediately I got it. I went to Him and I gave my yes. So people have their different reasons for delaying their answer to a marriage proposal or a relationship proposal. So I don't want you to be discouraged, okay? If you love her, work on each other and get better on a daily basis. That's just all I can suggest to you. And a lot of people don't really know how to manage romantic relationships. You see, being of age to be in a relationship is not the same thing as being mature to manage a relationship. We have a lot of old people who are so immature and they get into lovely relationship and they mess it up. There are a lot of people like that, unfortunately. So I don't want you to be discouraged. If you really love her, you may want to get a mentor for that relationship. And that's what I often advise people who are courting, who are dating, or who are married. If you know there are challenges you're going through with your partner, you may want to have a mentor for your relationship. Someone you can always get in touch with that this is going on and they advise you, do it this way, do it that way. I want to suggest you don't go for someone who will take side with you or take side with your partner. Go for a neutral person. Okay, I know I have a lot of requests of a lot of people wanted to make me very close mentor to their relationship. Because of my schedule, I may not always be available. But the little I can do, just like what I'm doing right now, I will always make useful information available, to all of you to help your relationship. I pray God will take good care of you. So my brother, don't be discouraged, okay? When you move closer and you discover the weaknesses of some people, it will wow you. It will wow you, okay? That notwithstanding, we can actually live together. Some of the things we do, we don't really see them as a big deal. But by the time we allow another person to come into our lives, they become big deals because we're coming from two different backgrounds. And we need to be flexible enough to accommodate one another if truly we mean that relationship. I hope this is helpful. God bless you. Let me go to the next question. How do I prepare for marriage? How do I prepare for marriage? As common as this question may be, it's so important we talk about it. How do I prepare for marriage? Now, someone who is asking these questions, this particular question may either be dating, courting, engaged, or single, not in any relationship. And the level you are, which of these you are, will determine the counsel I'll give. But overall, to prepare for marriage is read a lot of books about marriage, a lot of books about marriage. Don't believe you're so mature, you're so old, you're experienced, you've had previous relationships, you've seen people had their experiences in marriage, and you believe you're ready. No. At times, you may not really be ready because it depends on who you're dealing with or whom you're going to deal with in that relationship. Really, read a lot of books about marriage. Equip yourself. Read a lot of books about your ability to be able to accommodate people. Read a lot of books about how you will cope with a relationship that is stressing you. There are a lot of angles to preparing for marriage. Read books, pray. I know it looks so a cake or old school to say pray for marriage, for your marriage. I want to repeat again. No matter how modern or civilized we get in this generation, that thing cannot change, that you need God to make the right choice. And I can't emphasize that enough. So read, pray, attend seminars, dress well, work on your relation or your attitude, work on your taste, work on your dressing, be teachable, be accommodating, and etc. That's how to prepare for marriage. It's like an endless list, okay? Unless I meet you and there are specific things you would love to discuss with me as you wait for marriage. So I'll have something at the back of your mind as you prepare for marriage. Don't build a castle of how your marriage is going to be, especially the person you're waiting for, the man or the woman. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't have personal expectations or personal discipline or what you want or what you don't want. I'm saying don't make it difficult for God to help you to get the right person for you. We have a lot of believers that God has given them their spouses and they have rejected him or her, unfortunately, because the castle they built of their marriage or of their man or the woman is so out of place that God is wondering that, honey, if I do it the way you want it, this is going to hurt you. Okay, and a lot of us will go ahead anyway. And at the end of the day, we get hurt and we'll come back. You see, you cannot marry the perfect will of God and get destroyed. I stand to be corrected. I know even when it is the perfect will of God, it doesn't eliminate challenges. It doesn't eliminate problems, common problems. But it will never consume you if that person is the perfect will of God for you. I hope that is understood. All right, let me go to the next question. I'm scared of getting married, but I longed for dating. But marriage is my fear. Okay, you can date, you're saying, but getting married, you're afraid. I know a lot of things must have contributed to this fear in your heart. Probably you've seen your parents or you've heard, stories of marriages that didn't work, and you've been wondering, you're afraid. Whatever your experience may be, I want to say, you can't keep holding on to them, or else you're not going to settle down in marriage. You can't. You need to discard your fear. The Bible says, fear not. I was told there are 365 fear not in the Bible, and each should manage your day for you if you really believe and trust in God. You can't keep living that way. Fear is not of the Lord, honestly. If you perpetually live in fear of anything, apart from living in the fear of the Lord, fear of anything, you'll be tormented. You can never live a normal life. Therefore, you might need to talk to a counselor who will ask you a few questions. What has actually contributed to your fear? Probably previous disappointments in the past relationships. And I want to say your past should not be strong enough to destroy your future if you don't want to permit it. Let the past go. Start afresh. I know there are some guarded men and women. When I say guarded, that is, they have so much barricaded themselves that they don't want anybody asking for any relationship, or they don't even want to go into any because they are still hurting. They need a period for healing. I know that may be the case, but you just have to get healed and move on. Someone who might have disappointed you, if you're holding on to it, probably he or she has moved on. So you don't allow such an experience to destroy the glorious future that is ahead of you. There's nothing in marriage to be afraid of. Marriage is a pleasant gift from the Lord. And if you allow God, if you're flexible, you're teachable, open the door and trust God and enjoy the beauty and the gift of marriage. I pray shall be well with you in the mighty name of Jesus Christ. Let me answer one more in this episode. Okay, this person is asking, what will I do if my partner always disrespects me and acts rudely towards me? Now, this could either be from the man or from the woman. It is wrong to disrespect each other as a couple, whether you're the man, whether you're the woman. As the man, you may want to ask, how do I respect my wife? Anything you do that hurts your wife is a sign of disrespectfulness. In fact, the unfortunate thing is doing it for other people to see it is a way to disrespect her. Okay, I mentioned that of a woman because it's not common to talk about the man respecting the woman. But in a relationship, it is duly expected you respect each other. And respect in this context is not the age thing. Like this is older, respect a younger one respecting an older one. No, it's a respect that gives value, that shows you value every human being around you. I am one of the counselors, a Christian counselor, who believe that you should respect your kids. Respect their privacies. Don't be a bullying parent. The same thing goes for respecting your wife. And now if you are the woman, respect your husband. Respect the head that God has ordained for you. You see, if you're in a relationship, you're yet to be married, you know that you're in a relationship with a man that you can't respect. Don't marry that man, or else you're going to ruin that marriage. If you can't be a woman that will bow to the lordship of a man in marriage, don't marry that man. You may be richer. It doesn't make you the boss. So if you want your marriage to work, relate as friends, as a couple, as lovers. No true lovers will try to hurt the other person. None. I haven't seen, because love covers a multitude of sin. And love is real. Love is powerful. Okay? No lover will really want to hurt you. So, if your partner is always disrespecting you, I'll suggest one, you let him know. Don't try to disrespect him or her as a way to take a revenge. No. Look for a time that he or she is calm enough and you talk about it. If you think you've done this over and over again and he keeps repeating it, I want to suggest you see a counselor and let the counselor ask 1 or 2 questions. You might need some peculiar counsel that will help you. All right? But just like I said, don't seek for revenge. Okay, it will just scatter the whole thing. And then when you know that he might be a hot-tempered person talking to you in front of everybody, anytime you know he's gonna do that, quickly walk out of the scene. All right? You know each other enough to know what will trigger that disrespectful attitude towards you. If you avoid that and you keep talking about it, don't be disrespectful while you talk about someone who is disrespecting you, so that he can value what you're trying to tell him or her. I hope this helps. Okay, I'm going to be coming up with another episode. I have 1001 questions you have asked me. Please keep in touch and stay tuned. One day, I'm going to answer your questions. I pray the Lord will take good care of you, and I'll be seeing you some other time. Love you all, and God bless you. Bye.